So, Doug, somebody writes in to say, my wife and I are officially father-in-laws to our daughter and new, I'm assuming son-in-law. We don't live in the same state. So how do we do our part in avoiding unnecessary conflict? How can we steer clear of any cliches? How did you and Nancy think through this stage?
Okay, the way you stay out of unnecessary conflicts is you don't start them. and, so here's the general pattern. You brought your kids up. Let's say they left, they got married when they were 20 or went off to college when they were 18. You had 18 years to instill your standards, teach wisdom, all the principles and stuff. You had your shot.
Yeah.
That was your shot. When you give your daughter away, you need to give her away. Okay, let go. Don't. It's not your circus, not your monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
Now you care for your kids, you care for your grandkids, and if you're wise parents, there will be occasions where you see something. Okay,
Yeah.
and when you see something, keep your mouth shut. Right?
Okay.
Do not say anything. Now, the standard would be, if your kids ask you for advice, what do you think about this? Or we're worried about Billy, and
Yeah.
if your kids come to you for advice, then offer it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. If it is an intermediate sort of thing or serious sort of thing, then what you do is go to your son. Dad should go to your son or go to your son-in-law and say, would you be open for us giving you any input on how Billy's doing? And if he says, yeah, we're totally open, then give your input. Mm-hmm. If they say, no, frankly, we're not, then shut up. Don't offer.
Uh-huh.
So basically, if asked, share your wisdom. If you're not asked, don't share your wisdom unless it's significant.
Uh-huh.
And even then, knock before you go in.
When they're really little, your mechanisms for steering and whatnot are pretty visceral, clear. You can spank them. You can you can direct them,
Mm-hmm.
and as they grow up, those things change.
Right.
And then so when you transition to being the parents-in-law, what are your tools? Like what do you have?
Advice, prayer, advice, counsel.
Yeah.
Those are your tools.
Okay. How about, I mean, I'm just thinking of, this one's personal.
Right. Because it's happening to you.
Yeah.
Ho.
Well, I mean, I got to be there for when you were walking through this from the very beginning. And then now I get to see it with my kids. And so the prayer one is one that I think that we really have suddenly realized this is something we just have to be doing every day, and really praying for them. But I would say, like, one of the things that we found really compelling would be hospitality and loyalty.
Yes.
They're like, so Sabbath dinner would have been, to me, one of the main ways that we were not directed, not controlled, but nurtured,
Included.
Yeah. So because you have that hospitality and whatnot, that develops this, with your daughter, you have the 18 years, but with your son-in-law, you got a couple of months.
Right.
So you haven't built that into him.
Correct.
But I would say those Sabbath dinners build in a loyalty, and then that loyalty starts to pull forth from you. Actually, I'd like to get advice about this, or I'd like to hear your take on that.
It builds in loyalty and a common experience.
Yeah.
That you all saw what happened.
Uh-huh.
All right. Everybody's around one another. Everybody saw, and it creates an easy opportunity to seek advice or an easy opportunity to bring something up and ask if I could give some input here. Another thing I forgot to mention, and that's when your grandkids get older. So we have married, grown grandkids now. And when they're in college, you've got it's not a matter of watching your kids shepherd or discipline your grandkids when they're 10 at your house, and do I say something or not? Mm. When your grandkids are grown, you enter into yet another level of just an older person in the community Yeah, so Nancy could take one of the granddaughters out for lunch and wind up giving advice to her the same way she would another college girl that she takes out to lunch, where the granddaughter seeks counsel or
Yeah.
advice. And that's a very organic, natural sort of thing.
So another part of this question is, this is somebody who's out of state. How do you from a distance develop that kind of relationship?
Okay. Yeah, we're all in the same town. You mentioned Sabbath dinners and we all get together. It's very natural. When you're out of state, and let's say there's another set of in-laws on the opposite side in a different state, you don't want to make your kids a rope in the tug of war, right? And you don't want to, you want to basically have an attitude that we've tried to cultivate: get to, not got to, get to, not got to. So when let's say the kids come for Thanksgiving, right? And they've been there 2 days and they're all piling into the car. The thing you must not do is be standing on the front porch saying, why can't you stay another couple of days? You can get another day off of work.
Yeah.
Why can't you stay a little bit longer? And the thought bubble above their head is because of conversations like this one. This is precisely why we can't do it. So I would say to parents who are at a distance, you want to be hospitable without being grabby. So there's a difference between being hospitable because you want to bless them and being hospitable because you're not dealing with an empty nest very well, and you need people around. And then the temptation is to clutch and grab, and that is that's the great way to chase kids away.
Yeah. They also ask, how can we steer clear of any cliches? What are the cliches of in-laws that people just regularly step into or don't see when they're doing it?
You can see it in all the mother-in-law jokes,
Yeah.
right? And some of them are pretty funny. I saw a meme. I'm so worried that Trump might deport my mother-in-law. She lives at 886 Aspen, gets off work at 6. That's a mother-in-law joke, and so the standing joke is there's always going to be in-law tension. That's the trope, and I'm assuming that's what they're wanting to avoid. I don't want to be that mother-in-law. I don't want to be the butt of that joke. And basically, the way you avoid that is by being the greatest thing ever. It just without giving without strings.